Hello, and you're very welcome to another edition of the JMac Podcast. I am John McMahon, and today I'm joined by Need to Talk clothing brand ambassador and owner, Ronan Patterson. And of course, guys, this podcast is sponsored by OrgaRetrowear.com. Check the website out for all your retro gear needs and wants. Ronan Patterson, my good man, how are you?
Good, John. How are you? How's everything getting on?
Good lad, good. Sure, look at it's Groundhog Day at this point, lad. So it's much the same. Every conversation we have, it's always the same, lad. But how's business? How's everything going?
Yeah, good. Obviously I started in like last September now, so we're a good 6 months in, and still kind of learning every day. Like everything's going good. Like the awareness is being spread, and doing talks like this here is only helping it too. So yeah, I'm quite happy where it's at the moment, but I can't wait for the summer and for I have a bit of free time after college and stuff to push it on and spread awareness, and have like hopefully exciting things planned for summer.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. And look, we're always on the blower to each other anyway, but to kind of let the listeners know and all, like, and how, like, what's the routine like, Ronan? How are you getting on? You're working away, keeping the business going, college. You're like myself. I don't know how you're finding the time for it all.
Yeah, well, look, I probably complain about it to my friends, but secretly I love it. I love being busy. I love keeping the head busy, and that's just the way I am. So yeah, like a normal week would just like involve college 3 days a week online, which I need to get on top of very soon, or I'll be getting in trouble. And then at the moment, then 2 days a week with the construction company. Like most all sites are closed at the moment, so just kind of working from home with them and just keeping on top of things. And then obviously then I Need to Talk is kind of like the hobby and thing I look forward to doing in the evenings, like sorting out packaging and stuff like that there, and trying to keep on top of social media. I think you know yourself, it's a tough job. It's a job in itself to keep on top of it. So yeah, it's hard to explain, like with the Need to Talk side of things, what you do, because you're literally just doing everything, you know, like you're doing from talking with customers to getting suppliers to trying to sell to then of course spreading awareness and giving back. So it's a busy week, but I always find some free time to chill, so it's good.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, and I suppose we're in it a year. We were talking off air there with everything that's going on, Ronan. But how have you adapted to like it has changed everyone's perspective, everyone's life, and as I always say, for the good, the better, the worse. But like, how have you found it? Like, has it changed your perspective on things? And I suppose you've opened up the business, so it's been good in that sense, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd say like I was just kind of worrying, definitely at the start. You know, like we're a year on now. Like last March when we were hearing about it, we just thought it was just going to be another flu. Like things are going to pass, like everything else does, you know, and we're just going to get by it. But then it was just this continuous of like lockdowns and like government coming out with things, and like I'm not blaming the government, but it's just like no one, it's a new strain of a virus. Like no one actually knew what the impact was going to be at the start, so you're taking safety precautions, and probably still to this day they don't know fully what it is. So like it was a continuous like of having hope, then having none, then having more hope and having none. And I feel like in Ireland personally, we've all just kind of crashed and hit a wall now, knowing that we have the vaccine there, and we just want to roll it out like every other country is doing. Like during the whole kind of, we'll just call it the lockdown with the last year, like it's for myself, my life hasn't changed that much. I've maybe pulled away from football even more, just because of the business and with work, and I'm just too busy at the moment. But I feel like I wouldn't enjoy playing at the moment because there's so much uncertainty, and that there'd just be too much going on in my head with when are we going to be playing, why are we training at the moment, pretty much. So I feel like it's really given me a chance to give me a chance to learn more about myself and what I actually enjoy doing. And look, like I can't wait to go back out in the field and kick a ball, but I know stepping back at the moment's the best thing for me personally, because there's so much uncertainty there, and not knowing what to go on. But overall, like as negative as it all was, like my life has just been the same. You know, I've been in college, it's online, I've been working still, and yeah, I've just been running Need to Talk.
Yeah, definitely. And like I was kind of like I was saying to a couple of ones like last week and ones I've had on the podcast. But I suppose with your Need to Talk brand and everything that comes with it, Ronan, like Darky, well, even it's probably it's getting a bit longer, but like the weather's pretty shit. Like, you know, we'll have to be honest. Like, and it's, you know, there's no outlets, there's no cinemas, restaurants, pubs, nothing, absolutely nothing. So Ronan, how important is it to pick up the buzzer, get on to a person you haven't been talking in a while, or just kind of talk to people, I don't know, go for a walk, any little thing to kind of make them evenings and days go by a bit quicker, Ronan?
Yeah, so like obviously there's little positives in it. Like it's coming up to summer, you know, like we're gonna have the brighter evenings and stuff, but you know, Ireland and its weather, it's still miserable, and like we might have the odd good day, and like we know how much the sun boosts your serotonin, and we're just unlucky not to have that much in Ireland. So yeah, it's so important just to kind of keep in touch with your friends. Like, I know it's a year on, and we've been saying it's a year on, but it's so important to just speak openly to your friends about how you're feeling and how everyone's struggling at the moment with like unemployment and lots of other things. So yeah, it's important just to pick up that call. And I know, like me and you, John, like we'd be talking on and off like during the week, and it's good to just keep in touch with people and to chat to your friends, and even just I'm sure everyone's probably sick of their families at the moment, so just maybe even getting back onto the Zoom calls like last March, and continuing to just obviously abide by the lockdown rules and stuff, and just we're all going through the same thing. So yeah, just I think just picking up that phone and having that chat with someone is so important.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Like, I think some people can kind of get sidetracked. Oh, Jesus, I'm the only one involved in this, but it's a worldwide thing. So I think it's always kind of important to remember that kind of perspective and things as well. And I suppose, Ronan, with the Need to Talk brand, obviously I suppose I probably let you take away on this now. But what was the inspiration behind starting it all? And I suppose even if we want to kind of touch on your story and why you've started all this, and what's the whole idea behind it, Ronan, if you want to kind of take it away there, I suppose.
Super, yeah. So like very briefly, why I set up Need to Talk is because I suffered and still am suffering from like anxiety type depression. And how it came about was I had glandular fever at the age of 16, which knocked me back kind of physically and mentally. And at that time, I was playing sport like to the highest level. I was playing rugby, playing GA with Cavan, rugby with Ulster, and then had been called to AFL trials too. Like, it was such a big thing for me, but not having that mental strength of wanting to go back out into the field and stuff like that there, knowing that I wasn't the player I was before I was sick, that was playing in my head. And so yeah, I struggled a lot and went and sought help with counselling and antidepressants, for example, and just kind of had a roundabout way of getting where I am. Like, I had a really bad leaving cert, done a PLC and quit it. I started an electrical apprenticeship, left it, and then ended up going to Cavan Institute, and loved what I was doing there, and it got me to where I am now, which is a quantity surveying in TUD in Dublin, and I'm in second year. So why I set up Need to Talk was to share my story and tell people that it's okay to speak up about how they're feeling, and people can have ups and downs in their life. And like, I felt like I was at my pinnacle, like I was performing to the highest level I could, and then such a negative impact hit my life that I still feel like to this day I'm still recovering from. So everyone is going to have that point in their life. Like, everyone's going to have downfalls, but it's how you recover from them. And this is how I recovered from it. This is what I wanted to do, is to spread awareness about my story in a cool way, and in a way that might be able to attract to younger people. So that's why I came up with Need to Talk clothing. Like, people ask me why clothing, you know, I just thought it was a way that, like, everyone loves fashion in a sense, and everyone has their own fashion. So it was a way to connect with maybe teenagers and younger people first of all, but and even just like the older crew of people as well, just to connect with them and have something that if I walked up in the street and seen you, John, or you seen me wearing this, you're going to question, like, what does that mean, or what is Need to Talk? and from there, that's going to spark a conversation to with someone that they don't know they needed to have. And that's personally why I kind of set it up, and why I came up with the idea I need to talk.
Yeah, great stuff. And me and you kind of have we've done Instagram lives and stuff when we've had these kind of talks. But like even to new listeners watching on, Ronan, like what were the struggles you did kind of go through, and like, you know, when did this kind of, I suppose, journey for you start, I suppose, Ronan?
Yeah, so like realistically, I think the trauma from the glandular fever was really it was the start for me. Like not knowing what it was, first of all, and like being so young, like 15, 16, when all I wanted to do was go out in a football field and play football, like, and not being able to do that, being too weak, to losing so much masculinity, and then having them thoughts in my head going, am I going to be back to where I was? What do I need to do to get back there? Will I be good enough to make that county team again? Will I ever play rugby again? Having all these thoughts in my head was wrecking me. You know, I was always tired and like really just depressed with it. Like, so like kind of having that continuous toll on me, you know, like that voice in my head telling me that I'm not going to be okay anymore, like I'm not going to make that team, I'm not good enough for this team. It was really daunting for me. So I think that was the big step, was definitely the glandular fever. That's really was the start of it all, of them negative thoughts in my head. But the only way I was able to battle with them was to tell myself that I'm not feeling okay. These thoughts aren't normal. Well, they are normal. Everyone goes through them, but I need to tell myself that I'm not okay myself. I'm not okay with myself. I need to go to the doctor. I need to speak to someone that's professional with dealing with this. And that's what I done. I was lucky enough to be able to open up to myself and tell myself that. And that's definitely the starting point for a lot of people, is owning up to themselves that they're not feeling okay.
Yeah, like it's fascinating as well, Ronan, because like even on the football pitch, the rugby pitch, any walk of life, I don't know, Jesus, like socializing with your friends or whatever, like it's a scary thing. Like I was talking to Ted Foreman with mental health last week or the week before, and he's had his own battles with it, but it's a scary thought that someone could just be going through torture in their head. But Jesus, behind it all, you know, it's like they could be living such a fresh life. It looks like in social media, or, oh, geez, he looks like a great lad. But behind it all, Ronan, you're like, Jesus Christ, this is just a horror show.
Yeah, and that's definitely what it was, and even up to this day, like so like going from loving sport, like not knowing what all them thoughts were when I was younger, you know, and then hitting that point, and my friends knew I was unwell, and my sporting teammates knew I had the glandular fever, you know, but they never knew the other side of it, of what was going on in my head. And I think like I think everyone says that like sport and stuff is the great way to clear your head and stuff. But for me personally, when I was feeling unwell and I was going onto that pitch, if it was a full house in Breffni or an empty pitch in Rammer, I just felt like I was lost in the moment. That all I could think about, I couldn't focus on the game. All I could think about was what's going on tomorrow. What am I eating tonight? Like just stupid things going on in my head, and then just being completely lost in the field. And I remember, like I don't know if I've mentioned before, but there was one time I was playing with I think it was one of my first years with the seniors with Rammer, and just one of the games I knew all week that I was just nervous about training and just nervous about the game and how I was going to perform. And it got to the game, and I was coming on as a sub, like, and I was brought on. I think it was a semi-final or maybe a quarter-final against Lacken, and I remember coming on and just being lost, and like I was on for a good 20 minutes, but I felt like it was like that, and then the final whistle blew, and one of the Rammer players came up to me and asked me, what's wrong? Like, why are you so quiet or whatever? And I just completely broke down, started crying in front of him, and had a panic attack on the pitch, like in Breffni, like there was a lot of the Lacken players still there. My whole team was there, and there was still a lot of supporters there, and even that like freaked me out for ages after. So like even having that panic attack or whatever, and get my breathing back to normal and stuff. Like even just the trauma that had on me playing with my club again for a few weeks and even a few months after, I still probably to this day I still think of that moment when I go to training or play a match, like, oh no, is this going to happen to me again? Or what are people going to think of me? Like, what's going on in his head? Like, will they think I'm a weirdo or something? So it just has like such a, like, I don't want to badmouth the GAA. I think it's such a great organization and everything that it involves is just great. But for me personally, going back onto that field and going to the training just brought back so much trauma and bad memories for me that I just didn't need to have.
Yeah, I think it's crazy when you're kind of performing at a high level, like, and that can kind of be going on in your head, and like it just probably was it just an accumulation of things that just kind of rolled into one run. Like, I don't know, when you're on the pitch trying to perform, get space, whatever, you're a midfielder, so you're always trying to get space or do whatever, but it just bang, and you just the emotions just let go, and you're just like, I didn't perform there, and a bit of a disaster. But then again, it just wasn't happening for you upstairs as well.
Yeah, it is. It's like, it's just that build up of everything. Like, so as I was saying again, like going out and exercising, like it's a great way to clear the head. But when you're playing a performance, and like I'd probably say like our club, like it's considered we're considered a professional team. Like, and I know a lot of teams in Cavan would consider themselves at a high performance elite squad. Like. And so like people are relying on you, and you don't want to let them down. And like as I said, like I've been a part of high performance teams before, and like I should be well used to it, but I never really did get used to it, and it always took its toll on me. So like there's so much pressure on younger lads and on people to perform, and obviously other people are able to manage it better than I was. So yeah, no, it is tough.
Yeah, geez, without a doubt, and it's mad to think that you kind of you handle pressure, but then obviously it just goes to show, Ronan, like coming on is in a senior game, like, and it's a massive pressurized situation. You were saying it's quarter or semi, so it just does go to show, like, if you're not there upstairs, realistically, there's not a chance you will perform. And I'm always impressed by the top athletes, obviously yourself and like all the Cavan kind of lads. Like, they might have had an awful week at work, or I don't know, family life, anything could go on, and to just perform at such a high level is what you can remark on over the years too, Ronan.
Yeah, like it is a credit to people that can just switch off with everything that's going on and just focus on that team or that their goal or their end goal. And it's a great skill to have, and that's probably why so many high performance athletes are where they are at the moment. And I definitely know a lot of the Cavan players are too. You can have a really crappy week at work, as you said, and just to be able to take all that negative and then bring it to training or bring it to that game and perform to the highest level. Like, it takes some guts, and it takes like a screwed on head up there. And if you're having them negative thoughts, for example, it would just be impossible to do that. And like, the only thing you're not focusing on what everyone else is focusing on is getting that end goal and maybe winning that game or performing as a group. So no, like, you have to give credit to lads performing at that level and being able to switch on and switch off at the right time.
Yeah, and I suppose we were kind of referenced at the start, but like, and obviously need to talk. How important is it all? Like, even not in this COVID or pandemic, like, and to be fair, there probably will be a bit of a backlog of people's kind of mental health and all that goes with it when we do get out of this hellhole. Probably the best way to describe it. But how important, even generally, Ronan, is it to open up and just talk to people, and just, if something is on your chest, just let it off.
Yeah, I think, like, as negative as the pandemic was, it's really shed a light on people's mental health, and that everyone suffers from something. Like you don't have to have a mental illness to have a bad day, and or to have a bad week. Everyone can have their ups and downs in life. So I think it's so important just for people to, like, familiarize themselves around the topics of what is mental health, and like, what is depression, what's like anxiety, what's social anxiety, what's OCD, like, there's just so many different types of things that people just could familiarize yourself with. Because then, if someone is battling that fight, you're going to be able to put yourself in their shoes and be able to help them in a way. So I can't speak it enough. Like, that's why I came up with the name Need to Talk as well. Like I want to create a Need to Talk, and make people understand that it's okay to speak up. And I think because I'm so young and just a young voice still in college, I feel like a lot of people is going to be able to see my story and see that maybe they're going through the same thing. And it's so good to have something to relate to. I think you really know yourself. Like to have something that you can relate to really brings it home. It brings that like personal touch. So I think that's the best thing to do, is definitely just to learn more about it, and then spread the awareness and make it okay to talk.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose the brand itself, Ronan, it's a great idea because obviously the jerseys, the hats, the jumpers, everything, like, and I think personally it's a great idea because it does spread awareness. People can be wearing it, as I've mentioned to you before, in every countries, and sales are flying for you. So how is the product going, and I suppose what's the kind of feedback been to like the jerseys, jackets, everything you have on sale, I suppose?
Yeah, so like the feedback obviously at the start was just crazy, like just friends, family, and that, just trying to support a local startup, like, and you're always going to have like that drop, like, and I feel like just after Christmas there, like January, February, there was a bit of a drop, and like I was questioning, like, why am I doing this? Maybe I should just leave the clothing aside and focus on sharing my story and just myself personally. But then I was like, no, like I love doing the clothing, and I love seeing someone else wearing it. Like I love the fact that people are wearing the jerseys and the jumpers and the hats, and being able to wear them around and know that it's spreading awareness around Ireland, for example, and around the world. It's so nice to see. So like I feel like personally, like there was always going to be a drop, and now I feel like I'm going back up again, and I can start like focusing on it again. I know, just if you're all like, look, like everyone has them negative thoughts in their brain, and like I'm preaching about them, like, and I just felt like I had that at one stage, but now it's going great. Like trying to get a new range of jumpers out very soon, and stuff like that there. So it's just something exciting to look forward to, and obviously in the background just training about mental health and doing them workshops, so I can really push the two together and bring them to where I want them to be.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose it's great because sportswear, it'll always be worn. I think you started off with the jerseys, the hats, and everything that goes with it. Like, and like how at the start, I think you obviously launched it in September 2020. So at the start, it just sales were flying for it, and like everyone was getting on board and spreading awareness, I suppose, Ronan.
Yeah, no, geez, the start was crazy. And I was like, oh my god, like why didn't I think of this sooner? Like why didn't I think? But there was obviously, I knew there was going to be like a drop or whatever, but it's been great. And like even just now, like I love having like the likes of return customers. Like there's such a feeling about, because like I use Shopify at the moment, and what it does, like it would tell me if someone's ordered again, and just even having that, like knowing that someone got one of my gear and liked it enough to order something else, like there's just that, like it's just that warm feeling, just it's so nice to see. But yeah, it's been great. Like, and the way I look at it, like it's a hobby for me, and like it's something I do in my spare time, so I never get worked up over it. Like I still have my job, like I'm studying to be a quantity surveyor, and I absolutely love it. Like, so I'll always have that. So really Need to Talk is just, it's my passion on spreading awareness, and like if I can get in sales in the clothing and being able to give back too, like it's great. But it's definitely not going to beat me down if it's not performing to the level I want it to. So.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose I'm in business myself personally the last 7 years, and like I'd be thinking, like I'm at it that long. Like I think, Jesus, did I have a bit of a slump there? But I suppose, what kind of ideas have you kind of came up with to kind of promote the band or brand even? And when you are kind of having them ideas, like you're thinking, oh geez, that's negative, whatever, what way do you kind of think yourself out of them situations? And I suppose, what have you done to kind of promote the brand and big it up, I suppose, Ronan?
Yeah, I think personally, like if you have that like kind of idea or have that idea in your head, is definitely just to write it down and kind of do like a spider web or a step of why do you think that idea is going to benefit you, or what could you add to that idea, instead of just every day we're waking up and just having another idea in our head and just be like, sure, I'll do it in a couple of weeks. I think it's important just to write it down and go through it. Like I've said now for a while I'd love to do mental health talks like professionally, like properly. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm doing training on it. At the moment with the talks I'm doing, I'm just spreading my story and what I've been through. So I can't actually help others physically. So that's one of the ideas I have popping. Like I'd love to continue this range of clothing and make it as fashionable as possible. Like I'm not the fashionable type, you know. So just having like mates that are in college helping me out, getting logo designs and stuff like that. There, like, is another like idea I have in my head, like that they'll be able to help me. So yeah, I think just with that question, definitely, John, is just if you have any ideas, to pop them down and work on them, you know, and instead of just kind of thinking of something and then not doing it, definitely just write it down and just think of the pros and the cons of it and go from there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose, can you, even if you want to touch on it as well, Ronan, with the products you are selling. So if you want to explain to the listeners and the watchers, whoever's watching on, hopefully nationwide, worldwide, fingers crossed. But I suppose, like, what you have on offer? I'm wearing one of the white jerseys, and what else do you have, I suppose?
Yeah, so at the very start, whatever, we launched a jersey with Masita. They're actually Kells based, and it was like a tail blue one. And then we released these just in the end of January there, which is the white one you're wearing now. And then we have like a black and blue one as well. And the idea with that was spreading awareness throughout Ireland. At the back of them, there's like the Irish with the 32 counties on it. So that's the idea I wanted to have around it. That's kind of on the sporting side, and then on the casual wear side, I have these jumpers still. Probably ordered too many of them, but look, it's a learning process, and I'd love to get these new jumpers out. I have like a colourful range coming out now with Need to Talk kind of written on it. Can't wait for them to come. They should be here in the next few weeks. And then like bobble hats. Like I know we're coming up to summer now, so the last thing we want to be buying is a bobble hat. We're hoping for tank tops. So hopefully I have tank tops in line coming soon. Like just little bits and pieces like that there. I have masks at the moment. I have t-shirts and tops and stuff like that there. Like I have like such an expansion range of kind of clothing there, like, and look, I can't wait to just keep building it. And then obviously like stationery stuff, I just have like the coffee mug and face masks and stuff. So yeah, there's a big range there, like, and look, it's a learning process, what's going to sell, what people are enjoying, and that's kind of the fun of it all, you know. And you want to be ahead of trends, like realistically, if I want to have something out for Christmas this year, I want to start thinking about it now. So that's the way you have to look at it, and it's like a fast moving industry for sure.
Yeah, geez, and I definitely know from business competition over the years as well, Ronan. And I suppose when you were releasing this, like, I know there's other kind of mental health charities and doing something similar to you. So would you be kind of vigilant that, oh geez, there's ones other kind of like doing what I'm doing, or like kind of like when you're kind of comparing your brand or kind of coming up with new ideas, like would that ever kind of cross your mind, or are you just kind of so focused on getting your own products out and I suppose keeping your house in order, or what's your verdict and all that, or?
Look, yeah, like I know that there's other mental health brands out there, and not even brands, maybe doing other things regarding mental health. And the only thing I can say about that is like I can't fault them. Like they're doing exactly what I want to do, is spreading awareness and sharing their own story. And look, if their business is doing the same as mine, then fair play. It's spreading awareness and it's getting the word out there. And I think you know that yourself regarding your business too. You know, like people are in the same boat as you. Like if you start like bad mouthing or going against other people's ideas or companies, it's not going to work well for you. You want to help each other out, and you want to do you want to like you both have the same goal. Like, and I think that's the best way to look at it. So yeah, no, like I know there's other ones around me, and I just take them in my stride. Like, and obviously I try to focus with my company and ways that I can think of new ideas and things. But yeah, regarding that, yeah, I just think it's great to see other people taking the step and setting up a company, especially in Ireland.
Definitely. Of course, guys, this podcast is sponsored by Orga Retrowear. Check the website out for all your retro gear needs and wants. And I suppose, Ronan, how important is kind of social media for the promotion of your brand? Because you have an Instagram page, Twitter, Facebook. So I suppose, how effective have you found all them social media platforms? And you know, it's a great way to advertise your product.
Yeah, social media is just I think you know yourself at the moment, it's a generation of all sales because there's no physical meetings with anyone. I'd love to have a physical stand-up shop somewhere or something like that there, but at the moment it's all social media driven. Like, and that's, as I said, it's a full-time job. Like, you want to create content that people are going to want to look at and see, and you want to be able to share your story in a post without making it so too boring or too vague. So yeah, there's a lot of work in it, and I think it's a very like kind of niche area for people, and some people are good at it and some people aren't. And I know for myself, I'm still learning. Like, I had my little cousin help me now before Christmas with it, and she was unbelievable. She really sorted out everything for me, and I'd love to get her back now in the summer and get things going again with that. So yeah, I think social media is just so important. Like, as I said, pretty much all my sales are driven from social media, and yeah, it's just trying to keep on top of it. I know yourself, it's very hard to keep on top of it, and you feel like maybe you're being repetitive on it, but you're not. You know, it's like that consistency is what you need on posts.
Yeah, definitely. You just keep banging the drum without a shadow of a doubt. And I suppose, you know, what's it's a massive thing to do, Ronan, and obviously you've got great media coverage with everything that's gone on. And I suppose when you were kind of lining all this up, like, did you feel a bit apprehensive? Was there any nerves? Because we have seen in recent weeks Shane Carty Dublin, he's come out with his story, he's released a book, and Cavaman, Alan O'Mara, similar situation. So was there nerves? Was there many apprehensions? Or how did you feel about releasing your story in the first place, I suppose, Ronan?
Yeah, like, so I was very naive at the start. I thought I was going to be able to launch this without sharing my story. And like, that's how naive I was and how scared I was about opening up about how I felt. And once I sat down and wrote my story out and just said, you know what, like, fuck it, I'm putting it out there. This is my story. It's personal to me, and fuck whatever anyone thinks about it. Like, this is my story. It might help someone else, and it's going up there. And that's kind of the approach I had with it. Like, there's obviously so much nerves, like setting it up. Like, firstly, like debt. First of all, like, you're like still gonna be paying back like loans and stuff like that there, and it's a big step, but it's one I wanted to take. Like, I'm driven. I'm a driven person, and especially something I'm passionate about. Like, I'm gonna get there, and I know that personally myself, that if I put the head down, and I'm gonna get my end goal. So that's what I had in my head, and just kind of like, I always had them negative thoughts about, geez, what people are going to think about this. Is he just taking the piss out of mental health? Like, he's trying to make a money off his own story around mental health? Is he's just using the GAA for his own story? Like, there's always damn thoughts, and there's always going to be these trolls on the internet. But look, they're sitting at home on their laptop and phone and being keyboard warriors while you're out there trying to make a difference. So I think that's what I took from it.
Yeah, definitely. And look, it's great to kind of keep banging the drum, and no better time to start a business, to create a need to talk and everything that goes with it. And I suppose it's a massive story to release, and I suppose like it is important to kind of be driven and not think of what bloody Peter and Paddy think about it as well, Ronan. So we use this off the mindset, I don't give a toss, let's just go and do this.
Yeah, like, I think that's really, like, once I had my story out there for everyone to see it, and I couldn't care less. Like, I had no secrets anymore. That was my story, and everyone knows about it. So I didn't mind Mary, Peter, whatever, texting me, sending me emails. I did not care anymore, because this was my story and this is what I wanted to do. And but like, I'm not saying there was just negatives. Like, just the message I got back and the response I got was just unbelievable, from teammates, from family members, from friends, just opening up to me about their story, just from what I said. People that don't even know me opening up about their story. It's just been phenomenal. So like it took me a weekend from launching the website and the company to know, like, this was worth it, because I've helped so many people, and that was one weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It's from strength to strength. And I think I always say, like, people's being people. If you can get in the way of things and be annoying, and you know, even it's probably a very topical conversation, topical kind of website you've launched. But has there been any kind of people saying, "Oh Jesus, he's," as you were alluding to, "Oh geez, he's using this, or he's making up nonsense"? Like, has there been much of that, Ronan, or has it like been plain sailing, or?
There's been a few, but look, as I said, I don't want to give people a time of day like that are doing them things and are knocking people down. Like I just think they're the lowest form of kind of people, and maybe they need to talk and get some help with their mental health, because to focus on someone else's life and to badmouth someone else's life, it's just kind of the lowest form you can do. And when someone's trying to have such a positive effect in other people's lives, like I just don't understand it. And yeah, it kind of boils my blood. Like I don't like talking about it too much. I try to just focus it out, send them emails straight to the junk side of Gmail. So
Yeah, without a doubt, and it's mad because, as you were saying, the keyboard warriors, they could have problems themselves, and then they're just deflecting their problems from themselves onto you. So it's counterproductive, and it's no good for anyone. And even as well, like I think screen time is through the roof at the minute, as Ronan, and social media, everyone's flat out on it. Like, so what's your kind of opinion on that, and kind of how dangerous of a place is it? Because I was watching Caroline Flack's documentary there last Friday, and it was probably the most horrific thing I've ever seen. So a touch on social media, Ronan, and the impact that can have on people's mental health.
Yeah, so social media, like the world of social media, and like as you said, everyone's screen time's up at the moment. There's nothing else to do. Like there's only so many walks and coffees you can go for. Like you're going to be glued to your phone, and the way about that, like social media has so many positive things, and then they have so many negative things. And the way I can explain this is just like you need to surround yourself and follow and like the positive things, because if you start going down this loophole of following negative things and liking negative things, we all know by now, and if not, like online, it's an algorithm. Once you start liking these negative things are going to start coming up. If you start putting yourself out there with positive posts and following positive pages and looking up at positive links, you're going to have positive posts, positive links coming up on a daily. So I just highly recommend like the likes on Instagram there, like following like small things like positivity quotes. And there's definitely an Instagram out there that has good news. Like we all know that like RT News are going to have the most dramatic news on it, and like scary news and stuff like that there. So I'm sure there's a news outlet out there I don't even know, but I'm sure they have positive news out there about good things that happened today, and just stuff like that there to follow is so important, and especially now because everything that's going on.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, and I don't know if you caught it. Like, if you do get a chance to watch it, I'd probably advise watching because it could open your eyes up to it. But Caroline Flack's documentary, like, she was reading into comments, she was scrolling on her phone, and I suppose I can nearly ask you this question, or even any of your mates. Like, would you ever find any of your mates when things are normal, we could meet up for pints? Would you ever find your mates constantly scrolling or looking at bad kind of chat, or even after a game of football, you might have lost and people stuck to their phone? Or would you be like that yourself, or would you escape from it, Ronan? I suppose.
Like I'd like to think that I try to escape from it, but I'd always, you always know there's stuff there, and you want to look at, like, for example, you could probably maybe after a big game, for example, maybe we had a county game or whatever, and then after it, you're gonna hop on the social media and look at it, and there's obviously there's gonna be some negative posts up there, but like I think you just have to know yourself, like you're the one on the field, you're the one doing this, like they're the one sitting at home like doing nothing. And I think that's the only way you have to look at it, like just to focus on the positives of your game or whatever aspect in life, and just look at it like I know, which is what Caroline Flack went through, and like I don't know how some famous people do it, like influencers and stuff, like the amount of hate just treading down them comments, and like it would be near impossible to switch off from them. Like you're gonna see them, like, and like just God bless her, like Caroline, like the stuff that she went through and the messages she received online are just terrible. And some of the news articles in the UK should be just a tabloid should be ashamed of themselves, really, of the stuff that's being posted. So yeah, look, I think that's a whole topic in itself, really. But yeah, I know it's sad. Sorry, I'm plugging in my charger.
Yeah, no, awesome. Yeah, the super stuff. And I suppose we'll probably lighten the tone a bit and kind of get on to I suppose the football end of things. And obviously, you represent your club up in Virginia in Cavan there, Rammer Ronan, and you represent Cavan at underage level. You got to a All Ireland semi final in 2017, got to Ulster final as well that year as well. Super stuff. So football, and you obviously played rugby as well. But like, when did you kind of start playing for Rammer? And I suppose that interest of Gaelic football come around for you, Ronan?
Yeah, so most people don't know, like, I was born in Antrim, and my family would have a hurling background. My uncle was in goals for Antrim in the All Ireland against, is it Laois, I think, or Offaly maybe actually, and Grandad as well. Highly involved with Antrim with hurling, and then we moved to France, like, and so I was only back into Ireland when I was 8 years old. So like, I only started playing Gaelic really was like when I was 9 or 10 in school. And a story I actually love telling people is like, one of my best mates now, I remember I tried Gaelic out for the first time, and the teacher asked like, oh, how did Ronan do? Like, me, a little tanned fella from France, is coming back, and everyone was like, oh yeah, he done really good, really good. And there's one kid, right, and he's like my best mate now, saying like he was useless. Like, so I love telling people that story, like, and say like he was the reason that I went out and trained all them evenings and went out in them that December and done all these pre-season training runs just to prove him that I can perform to the highest level with Gaelic. So yeah, I took a really big our headmaster in primary school, big football head, and we had our PE teacher was a big football head from Tyrone too. So they really, I think, pushed on GAA and recommended obviously Rammer. I was in primary school in Virginia, so yeah, that's kind of where it started with GA, and from there, like, Rammer have such a great underage team build up, and I just made so many friends from it, and our team were kind of underdogs to win minor the year we did, and we ended up winning the double. So that was the kind of the top for me regarding sport. I got to play and win and captain a team to two titles there. So that was really a high point for me with football.
Yeah, I suppose kind of how important kind of was the club for you over the years, Ronan, when you're going through your various bits and like your mental health difficulties and everything that went with it? Like, how important was it to kind of, go to a train and meet the lads, just talk about who was with who at the weekend, or I don't know, that kind of crack, or just going for a drink, whatever? Like, how important was the club to you over the years, Ronan?
Yeah, like,
when things were normal.
I can't thank the likes of Rammer and even Cavan enough regarding like what they done with me, like on the football field, but off it. Like when I was unwell with glandular fever, they told me just to stick in there and it'll be fine. Like, and even with Cavan, like, I was still, when I had glandular fever, I was still playing with Cavan and stuff, and was still involved. So but off the field, like, Rammer's support there has just been unbelievable. Like the management even to date, like, know everything about me and know my story, and are still contacting me, keeping in touch, asking how I'm getting on. Nothing to do with football, because at the end of the day, they're your friends, and they just want to look out for you. Like, and even like Rammer members at the moment are still contacting me, asking how I'm getting on, and football wouldn't even be mentioned. And it's so nice just to even have that. So it really, yeah, like, as I said, I can't thank them enough. Like, it's really just like a family kind of a club, and they've just took me in with open arms. So
yeah, no, it's brilliant. It seems like a really, really good setup. And we can touch on your Cavan days as well. Like, you represented them in 2017, that great minor team that you're a part of. And I suppose how special of a journey was all that, Ronan? Because like Ulster final 2017, All Ireland semi against a great Kerry team. So fairy tale stuff, really, Ronan. When you look back on it.
Definitely. Like, I remember that team that won the minor, like, we won a Jerry Riley at under 16 together, like, and from there, like, we were all so driven that year of minor, going like we bet Dublin in the final for that Jerry Riley, and I just remember going, we were thinking like, we're beating one of the best teams in the country, like, we are really going to put the head down and focus on this minor journey. And like, massive game, first game against Banty's Monaghan, like, and it was, and a lot of people say it was probably the best game they've seen in Breffni Park in a long time. The place was packed. and it was such a tight game. We ended up winning, and that was really the start for us. Like, you can't beat a game in Breffni Park against your rivals, and especially beating them. So I'm getting goosebumps talking about the whole experience. Like, it was unbelievable. And then we went on, got to the Ulster final, and like, just even myself, like, being in Ulster final was such a proud day for me and my family. Like, as I said, the hurling background, it was so nice to be able to play on the other side of the sports and play. And I think we kind of let everything take its toll that day and never really got focused, and ended up going through the back door and playing Galway, and knowing that we underperformed in that Ulster final, and knowing that Galway were already looking at videos of Kerry before that game. Was a real big one for us, and we kind of had that whole year. We had that never say die kind of attitude, and like I can't just say it was like because we were driven. Like, geez, we had some serious footballers in that team. Like, and like a few, like, the lads are starting on the senior team at the moment. Like, and it's been incredible. And then obviously getting to play on the Holy Grail at Croke Park that year, like, that was just unbelievable experience. Like, for me, having the glandular fever and stuff, and then going off and performing in Croke Park was just such a wonderful experience. Like, and it was really like, it made me push on and want to play for Cavan again, and we played the minor, and then I was on the under-20 squad for 2 years, and so like I love everything about Cavan and everything, and the passion they have for football. And I think just a cherry on top this year was Cavan winning that Ulster, just to know that we are contenders around Ireland, and that Cavan football is back in the map. So it's so inspiring to see that the players were really able to pull together and pull off something magical for people around the county. It was something unbelievable to watch, and that was truly a fairy tale in itself.
Yeah, geez, without a doubt. And I suppose even kind of touching on that, like that, you were saying that Croke Park experience, and me and you talked about this kind of Kerry game he's come up against. I think David Clifford was just having fun all that year. It was just unreal. But like, I suppose we kind of touched on it before, but like, what was it like to kind of just the whole Croke Park setting, Ronan? Because like, you're watching Croke Park, Croke Park on the TV like most weekends in the summertime when things are good, when things are normal. Like, what was it like to be like? It's like a coliseum really at the end of the day, Ronan.
Yeah, I'm so happy like that we got that beating in the Ulster final before that game, because that Ulster final was packed, like, it was jam packed, and I was so happy to get that out of the way before I went up to Croke Park, because, like, look, I'm not trying to compare Brewster Park with Croke Park, like, but it was nice to have that. And like, we got to walk on the pitch before the game, and we settled our nerves really quickly, and yeah, the experience was crazy. Even the run up to that week was nuts. Like, just Cavan fans are different gravy. Like, it's just the message you're getting on social media and the hype you're getting, and the Garda escort you're getting through, or getting into Croke Park underneath the tunnel. Like, you just feel like you're a celebrity for a day. And yeah, just be able to play and be able to perform, and just to be able to lose to a Kerry squad that was going, I think, for 5 in a row that year for minors, and having the caliber of players they had. Like, they had David Clifford on that team. They've Dermot O'Connor as well as a Kerry senior. I was actually marking them that day. The likes of them pushing on to hop on the Kerry squad straight away. Like, I feel like people might have said that we let it slip by us and we could have got back into that game, but I feel like we showed what we could do that year, and it was a great boost to the county. So definitely, like, that whole, it's so hard to explain the Croke Park experience, like, and I can really understand why people say like Dublin have that home advantage, like, playing on the whole time, because there is that factor, like, going up there, and you do have them nerves. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I suppose it is the stuff of dreams playing in Croke Park, and you're just kind of running around and you're just thinking, like, surely you're just thinking, is this actually happening?
Yeah, like, it's surreal. Like, and you just, like, as I said, like, I was kind of, I wasn't born into GAA. It was kind of something I got into, but like, even just knowing the amount of greats that were playing in that field before you, and maybe plays or scenarios in your head, like, or game-winning goals or game-winning points that were played in that field before, and then you're You're playing a semi-final there, like after losing Ulster final, going out and beating Galway against the odds, like yeah, it was just such an honour, like, and was just delighted to be able to give back to a county, like to give so much to me, like from underage up. It was nice to be able to get them to Croke Park and play, and like the seniors have done that themselves, and they've done the whole county proud, getting on and getting used to that soil, and I know they'll be back there next year.
Yeah, geez, fingers crossed. And I suppose kind of pushing on from that, even with the county days as well, Ronan, like in 2018 and 2019, like were you involved in any kind of cabin squad since, or have you kind of been focusing in the club, or what's been the story since, really?
Yeah, so went up to, so we had under 20s there the 2 years, and the final year under 20s was really when I was starting to not really feel interested with football, and I was going to pull myself off the squad, and management at the time, knowing well, John Brady just told me to stick it out, and told me to look, like, you're not going to have these experiences again. It was that minor team as well, so there was big talk about us performing, and it was a great experience, and I love just being around the boys again. And yeah, from that we won the club under 20, and then after that I got called up to like a memorial game for Cavan seniors in Monaghan, got called from it, and then Mickey called me a couple of weeks after to train with the Cavan squad. So look, that was a dream of mine, even though my head wasn't fully there with football. It was a dream of mine to play with Cavan seniors. So I told Mickey I was delighted to be on it, and was on the panel for a couple of months, and from there I was dropped from the panel. Like, look, my head wasn't fully there, and I wasn't fully committing to the team, and it was probably the right decision for me to be dropped. So yeah, I haven't really got into football since then. Like, I felt like I was at that point, and now I'm here. Like, it's going to take me so long to get back up to that point, and there's so much going on in my life at the moment. But I'd love to put on that Breffni blue again and play for the seniors for sure. And I know that for a fact. It might not be now, it might not be next year, but I know for a fact that I'm going to go back out there and pull on that jersey.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. And I suppose Cavan's 2020 Ulster win, I can remember, I think the full-time whistle me and you just went bananas on Instagram Live. It was just fairy tale stuff, Ronan. And, what's your thoughts on that? And I suppose a magic night for us all, really, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely magical. Like, it was just, like, there was always that feeling going, like, oh my God, like, imagine if we were there. Imagine if we were there at that moment. Like, it was something I never lived through, like, and to be able to support a county and that you played for, and see lads that going out there performing against the greats of the sport and going off and pulling off what they did. Like, it was tactical genius, that Ulster final. They absolutely, like, there was no other winner that final. Like, and it was just unbelievable. And you have to look at, like, the underage, looking at that, look, I can still consider myself young, like, but even just the younger players, like under 8s, under 10s, they're gonna think them lads are heroes, like, and they're gonna look up to them and gonna be like, I want to be like him, like, I want to be like Raymond Galligan, I want to be and them goals and them older, for example. So yeah, it was such a boost to the county. But yeah, I can't say I remember much of that night, but I remember the Instagram Live all right.
Jesus. Yeah, I think we were 3 sheets to win during that particular recording. As you were saying, great lift to the county, Ronan, and it really was. So like from that whole experience, like, you were probably seeing on the ground, you're going around town, and it just really did give us such a good lift.
Yeah, from like COVID, for example, like, everyone was in such a negative feel. Like, we didn't even know if football was going to go ahead, but to be able to have that inspiration come back strong story from Cavan, that real, like, we all love an underdog, like, everyone loves the underdog, and to have that story but in real life, and to be able to see that is just, it's such a boost, not only to Cavan but to the country. Like, it lifted the spirit of the GAA for a good couple of weeks, and then Tipperary going off as well. Like, it was just, I just think it was a magical year for the GAA. It really brought it back up to where people wanted it, and have that energy and buzz around it again.
Yeah, geez, it was absolutely fantastic. And I suppose, like, you were kind of around that panel. Like, could you did you foresee any of this win? Did you foresee a win like that, or like could you see an Ulster Championship in them lads? Like, could you see them producing the goods when they did?
Look, yeah, it was the exact same panel that I was on. It was the same bunch of lads. Like, it was the same group. It was the same group that Mickey pulled together, and the lads pulled together and really wanted to set a standard and have that like respect and courage and honor for that jersey again. And they really wanted to create a culture, and like that was that. I know that for a fact. That was one of the things they wanted, was to create a culture within that team and have that team like a solid pact. And to be honest, like, I know it's grand saying it now, but I knew that team was going somewhere. I knew there was something in that team, and that's why I was obviously so disappointed not to be a part of it, firstly. But I'm so glad and happy that they were able to create that culture and go to where they are now. And like, I know Mickey's called in maybe 6 or 7 new lads now this year, and I can't wait to see how they're going to adapt and see where it goes from here. So, yeah.
Yeah, geez, we wish the lads the best luck, and they definitely brought unbelievable scenes to this county and probably nationwide, really. And I suppose kind of nearly to wrap up, really, Ronan, at this stage, and like, I suppose what kind of advice would you give, like maybe a 16 or 17-year-old Ronan Patterson that was totally going through similar stuff to you, and I suppose advice for the future, anyone kind of watching on that is kind of maybe struggling, what advice would you give them, Ronan?
Yeah, so just advice at the moment is just to keep going and keep doing what you're doing. But if you're having those negative thoughts that I was having, or having continuous down days, you know, seek for help. Tell yourself that you're not okay and speak to someone. It doesn't have to be a professional. It could just be your mum or your dad or your friend or your cousin or someone you can trust. Definitely just to speak up and open up to them, and that's going to be the start of your journey. That's going to be the start of your story about beating that mental illness, and yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, I think is really all I can say from it.
Exactly, and I suppose even just anyone listening on and watching on. So your brand, what's the name of your brand, and what are you delivering, and what new products have you coming up soon as well, Ronan?
Yeah, so hashtag ad now. The website's just www.needtotalk.ie. You can find everything there. But if you can't reach us there, we're on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Even a few dodgy TikToks up there. It's at Need to Talk Mental Health. So that's at Need to Talk Mental Health. And yeah, go on and even have a look, or even share a few of my posts. It would mean the absolute world to me.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Ronan Patterson from the Need to Talk clothing brand. It was an absolute pleasure. Of course, this podcast is sponsored by OrgaRetro.com. Check the website out for all your retro gear needs and wants. Ronan Patterson, an absolute pleasure, my man. You're a top man. A great time for you. And thanks a million for joining me on the JMac Podcast this week.
Thanks very much for having me, John. Best of luck.
No worries, Ronan. Thank you.